Welcome to Hip Hop Gems TV. We're back again with yet another gem. East Harlem is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Uptown is here. Got my guy Lex Lavo in the building, man.
Peace. What's going on?
Peace, bro. Look fantastic, man. Love the fit.
Thank you, dog.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Appreciate you.
I usually start the show with everybody giving themselves like a little introduction of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So who's Lex Lavo, and how did you get into this hip hop space, man?
Man, that, what's so crazy, man, I have not been asked that in a long time.
Oh, man.
And being that, I'm in a space where I've grown, in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Lex Lavo is an honorable man,
Mm.
a loving man, and just someone who is in tune with, like I said, when we was talking off camera, just walking in his purpose now. And I could attribute that now to my music and what I'm putting out to the world. And I think that's very important because I feel like when you have a platform and you have a voice, it's very important and, to say the things that you mean, you know what I mean, and that are important, most importantly, so that, people know where you stand in this world, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people are just not intentional with what they're saying and doing these days. So I am very keen on that, like making sure that people know what I stand for and who I am. And I'm an artist of the people. I always say that I'm young Lavito. I do it for the people because I do everything for my people and the people I represent. You know what I mean? I'm Boricua, I'm Latino, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm from Spanish Harlem, and I rep that. I rep that heavy on my sleeve. Everywhere I go, people know that. So, yeah.
Hell of an introduction. Probably one of the best I've had on the show.
Thank you, bro.
You said a lot in that intro, and one of the things I want to take from that is you walking in your purpose. You dropped a new single, which I don't want to jump around the interview on, but I have to because just what you just said, and I'm that kind of person.
Let's do it.
You are walking in your purpose. Your new single, 333.
100%.
How did that, you walking in your purpose, did that inspire this new single?
100%. Me walking in my purpose has given me more understanding about who I am internally. So it allowed me to create such a record as 333. It allowed me to be more vulnerable. It allowed me to be open with myself and with my audience and my supporters and fans. So it just put me in a space where I was like, the people who support me needed to hear this. They needed to hear this life shift that's going on with me. They needed to know what's going on. Like, cause I'm somebody, I always say this, Jadakiss has said this in the past. I believe in one of his records, he said, I'm not afraid to give my life to the people. And, no matter what it is, whatever I'm going through. That's why you could look at a lot of records he has that, yes, he's bar heavy and he does his thing, but you look at a lot of records like Why, and he got a lot of records that's in that realm of him just being introspective, and I feel like my fans and supporters needed that from me, because I've given them a lot of, other records that was just like maybe, just braggadocious and, streetwise and just like talking fly shit and all that, and I feel like they needed to hear the uplifted Lavo, the more introspective Lavo, the more in tune with himself Lavo.
I feel like that's such an amazing answer, and also such an eye opener to men, because a lot of us don't.
That's a fact.
We don't. How should I word this? We don't make ourselves vulnerable a lot. We don't put ourselves in a position of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And
I would like to touch on that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I want you to finish.
I'm done, brother. This is
okay.
Go ahead.
Copy.
Go ahead.
I have a lot to say about that, and I have to attribute that to my girl. So, she always says, and I've always agreed with her on this because again, now that I'm walking in my purpose, I can see what she means by this. Being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness, and I believe that's why majority of men feel like they cannot be. It's power, it's not weakness. And absolutely. I love when she says that to me because it's like it makes me feel empowered, not only by her, but by any female or any male I come across, I don't feel like I gotta hide my vulnerability from anyone. Like just the fact that I can talk to you like this and be comfortable with that, it says a lot, right? So that's why I feel like there are, like I said, majority of men out there feel like they have to like hide that aspect of themselves because they don't want to come off like people could get over on them, or again, if they might, have this ideology in their mind that it's weakness, and it's not. It's power. So like I want all men to know that being vulnerable is powerful. It's not weakness.
That's a clip.
Please know that.
That is a clip, folks.
Yeah.
That's amazing, and that's something. Honestly, I don't know if you're familiar with Ricky Mapes. Me and him
That's
had
my brother.
Shout out Ricky Mapes.
Ricky Mapes is my brother. I went to high school with Ricky Mapes.
Get out of here, man.
We've known each other since we was kids. Yeah,
that is amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Same school and all that. Obviously we from the city, so we've always linked up and done music with each other. That's my brother. He doing his thing. Shout out Ricky Mapes.
Shout out Ricky Mapes, man. That's my guy, man. We had an incredible conversation when he was up here, man.
Nah, yeah, he's very in tune with himself, man. He's one of the very few artists, that even aside the fact that I know him, like, because I know a lot of artists, but there's very select few artists that I know in the game that I could say is like very in tune with themselves. They work on themselves all the time. Like I'm talking about internally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. He's one of those. And I like surrounding myself around people like of that caliber. So he's definitely one of those.
That's my guy, man. We talk pretty often, man. So I definitely understand that where you coming from with that, brother.
Yes,
we as men tend to suppress all of these things because we feel like what society has deemed as what a man should be, right? You have spoken on things that a lot of men kind of tend to don't touch on because we feel like that shit ain't cool, Yeah. And I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you for acknowledging that, man.
Absolutely, man. I want to talk about your trip before I get into everything else, because Lex is an incredible artist, ladies and gentlemen. But
Thank you.
I follow him on IG, and I know you went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And when I watched the post that he was posting when he went to Puerto Rico, what I saw was somebody who was on a change, so to speak.
Yeah.
The captions you was putting, being in the homeland, and like how that made you feel,
right,
and how that inspired you for this next wave of you, right?
Yes. Tell
us, how was that, man? The visit to Puerto Rico and what that meant to you as an artist too.
Yeah, well, that's a very in-depth question, man, because when I went, I used to live in Puerto Rico when I was young. My father was in the military, so I lived there like 1995 all the way up to like maybe like 9-8. So I was there, but I was young, so I didn't really get to experience the island. So when I went back recently, I hadn't been prior, because I used to visit a lot. I still got family out there, but I hadn't been since Maria, Hurricane Maria. Yeah. So that was like what, 2018 around there, 2017, when I think this guy was in office. I don't even want to say his name. So so when I went there, I already had made the record that I told you, Saratoga Drive, and that single was based off, my upbringing there with my family, because that was the last place, that was the last address of, where me and my family were together as a unit. After that, when we moved from Puerto Rico and came back to the States, my mom and my father had split. So I just spoke on, my experiences with my family there, and what I had went through. So for me to go there was very bittersweet, because I hadn't been on the island in a while, and every time I touch it, it's like the moment I touch that soil is different. Like my spirit is just like lifted. It feels like, it's one of those things where you can't really explain it. You just feel it, and it's just within you. And I had went back to my old house where I lived at, and when I tell you, I had goosebumps, bro, because I hadn't been there in over 25 years.
Wow.
So to just be in front of my old house was crazy. Like it
Wow.
was just one of those experiences. Like, you know, it was all engulfed in like trees and weeds and insects, and it was crazy. Like my house was completely abandoned because it was on like a military base. So anyway, just being there, it kind of like opened up my mind to just like, you know, who I am as a person and my roots, and just getting in touch with my roots. And again, showing the people that I'm capable of doing that, and I don't hide that aspect of me as an artist and as a human being. You know what I mean? Most importantly. So I believe like that trip was like very much so needed, and it definitely allowed me to tap into a deeper, you know, spectrum of just who I am as a human being overall. It just allowed me to like take myself there, and I was just like, wow, like this is the type of artist that I need to be. This is the type of artist my audience deserves from me.
Ooh, I like that, bro. Those self-trip journeys is something that
Yeah, you could say it was like a retreat, but it was pleasure. It was there. I was there to, you know, just enjoy the island because I hadn't really been there to enjoy it. But like it was definitely like you could say a spiritual sort of retreat in a sense. You know what I mean?
that's amazing, man. And you came back such a different person. I want to say.
You could say that.
Would that, with that being said, would that inspire what you got coming out as far as like this next album?
Yeah,
And
you could say that.
hold on,
My bad.
my fault.
No, you
Can we expect more joints like 333 on the album?
Oh, of course. I mean, to be honest, I'm definitely gonna be dropping more singles that are along those lines, and you know, just being again more introspective and just being open to, you know, allowing my audience to see me and giving myself to my, you know, my audience, like not holding nothing back, you know, just being raw and real with who I am as an artist, as Lex Lavo, and just as me as a man. Like you said, to kind of touch and piggyback off what you said earlier, like the whole, you know, men don't feel like, you know, society allows them to be vulnerable and be open. And as artists, like I look at a lot of artists, like my peers, they're not doing that. They're not. They're just so, and not that it's a bad thing because everybody's season, they're in a different season of their lives, and I feel like eventually people will, you know, open up their minds to the reality of that. But people, they're not indulging in that because they might feel like it's not cool, or you know, that ain't their brand or whatever. But you got to also understand, like, your audience still, they're still people. You know, even if they like to like live vicariously through your raps and feel like, oh, this is so cool, this is dope, like I love the energy, but like you can't deny real energy like that. Like that type of energy is just like undeniable. Anybody, no matter what. I got fans all over the world. I got fans in Japan, South Africa, you know, Poland, you name it, I can name them. And they don't even speak a lick of English and they feel the energy. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that says a lot without saying it. You know what I'm saying? So the new music that's coming is definitely gonna be more in that lane, introspective, you know, the singing stuff, which I just started really introducing to the people now. You know, just like I said, I'm not a one-trick pony. You can't box me in. Like, I could do it all. Like how Pun say, what you want me to do? You want hardcore commercial? What you want me to, you know what I mean? I could do it all. Like, and I could do it all, and that's a fact.
Bro, and that's something that as an artist that as a listener, excuse me, that I gravitate to you and what you have done. You literally can do any type of style of hip hop, so to speak. Versatility is how I definitely would
Definitely in my
describe you.
repertoire. Yeah, it's definitely in my repertoire.
Absolutely.
Because I don't like to box myself in, man. Like, I feel like that takes away from the artistry. You know, art is abstract. It's you know, somebody said this the other day, and I loved it, and it really resonated with me. And honestly, it might have shifted my whole perspective on life. For real. They said, stop making sense. Stop making sense. And I was like, damn.
You got to expound on that one.
Stop making sense. Stop doing what everybody else is doing just because you think it makes sense. Stop doing what everybody else is doing to conform to this societal norm. Stop making sense and just be you. Stop thinking about, oh, oh, this might make sense. Maybe this song might make sense to the people. This song might do this to the people. Stop making sense. Just do you. Be abstract. Be weird. Be different. Weird is not bad.
Never.
Right? My girl tells me that all the time. I don't think weird is not a bad word. It's weird could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. It's weird is special. You know what I mean? Shit like that. So
weird is unique.
Weird is unique. So stop making sense. Just stop.
I actually want to piggyback that. Shout out to my guy Ayo Shamir. I had a conversation with him. He's a producer, and he asked me. We just was talking about being boxing yourself in, and he asked me. He said, "Yo, when you do the show and you put out a lot of these clips and you do different things like that, who you doing it for?" I said, "I'm doing it for me." He was like, "Yo, you have to do it for you. We got to make music same way how he makes music for him. Same way how what you just said. Everything if it ain't connecting with you here,
then don't. Why are you a part of it? Yeah, like listen, man. It's a lot of psychological warfare going on out there, man.
It is.
Like people going through a lot of things internally and mentally, and I just want to say y'all not alone, man. Whoever it is that's going through something out there, no matter what it is, you're not alone, man. Everybody's going through something. You know, whether it's, you know, I'm on the train yesterday and I'm seeing a lady, like she's just shaking out of just probably just nerves, she's anxious, whatever. Packed train, nails bitten down to the end, and I'm like, this lady has a lot of anxiety. She's going through things. You could just, it's telltale signs all around you. People just overlook them. So everybody's just in their everyday life. You know what I mean? I don't want to say no simulation. I don't get into that, but like you got to look at it for what it is. And people go through things. Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has a story. Everybody has something to tell. It's how you convey that story. And that's why I'm so keen on that, on being vulnerable. Like I said, I'm so big on that. There's nothing wrong with that, and I champion that everywhere I go.
A lot of us are very much overly consumed in our own world. And what we deem is like, yo, you know, makes sense, so to speak, right?
Yes.
And
that's why I said, man, stop making sense, bro. Stop making sense.
And whenever you get a chance to kind of escape from that and feel and be present, you got a different lens of the world. You got a different lens of
100%.
Of what's going on around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that alone kind of, I just feel like it can fuel so many different emotions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, Lex, man, that was incredible.
Thank you for having me.
That was incredible. No, we ain't done. I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you a few more questions. I definitely gotta ask you. What can we expect from you in the future?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. You know, like I said, you definitely gonna see way more content now. Cause again, I feel like I'm in a space now as an artist where I don't have to feel like, you know, I'm trying to, so to speak, keep up with the Joneses in a sense where I gotta like, you know, be like I said this the other day, like, and I know people have said this, but like I truly believe this. Stay in your own lane. There's no traffic there, right? There's no traffic when you're in your own lane doing your own thing. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm staying in my own lane. I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing or saying or speaking about. I'm speaking about what's my truth and what I feel. So, pardon me, money calling. It's crazy. So just, you know.
I love it.
Yeah. Nah, it's that real though, man. Like, I just feel like you put yourself, what you put yourself out there in saying is like, this is what you stand on, right? So right. I'm standing on what I believe in and what I feel like I want to project to the people. So right now, you just, like I said, just more music of this nature. I'm dropping a new single in October, and I'm just gonna stay consistent with dropping singles and, you know, building up my momentum again. You know what I mean? Getting people more in tune with who I am as a person. Like that's why I said, like when we was talking before I hopped up on the show, I was like, yo, I got a lot to say. Shit, we might go viral, we might not, but I know at least I'm gonna touch some people, and I'm gonna open up some people's minds and some people's hearts, and it's gonna be a good thing. It's gonna be something progressive, you know, and that's what I want. So that's what people gonna expect from me, is just more consistency with the music, more realism, more real life, you know, just my journey and what I'm going through right now. So
it's safe to say that this next project is gonna be different from Bodega.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what? I got a lot of, you know, a lot of ideas on how to still incorporate, you know, my past with my present, you know, in a more informational way, in a more uplifting way, rather instead of glorifying my past, you know, just kind of like teaching the people and, or, you know, the younger demographic that's watching me, you know, because again, you got to understand it's a responsibility you're trying to uphold here. By being an artist, you got a lot of people watching. You got a lot of people watching what you say and do, especially the young crowd. So you got to understand this is a responsibility that you making sure that what you're saying is important and it's the right thing, right? Because I mean, not that it's the right thing, but it's the information that you putting out into the world is what's going to reciprocate into the universe. So the moment you put out something that might be, you know, I was watching something the other day and this guy's like, yo, we're in the club, you know, people are popping bottles and hanging out and chilling, but we're partying to people talking about killing their ops. And you got to really like take that into account. Like how are we partying to that? How is that a party record?
Right.
That's not what I grew up on, to be honest. Like I was not partying to people talking about shoot 'em up, bang bang.
Same here.
We was partying to like love music. We was partying to, you know, life music. You know, things that made you feel good. You know, moved your spirit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I say you got a responsibility when you know all these artists that got this platform, and they not. You know, not saying all of them, but the majority of them are not using it in the way I feel they should. And that's most importantly, you know, uplifting their people and telling them what's right for wrong. You know, because you got a lot of people, you know, who look up to these artists, especially the young crowd. So that's important, man, and that's very important. And what I'm trying to implement into my music now, my singles, projects. You know, whatever it is I got going on, that's what I'm implementing in it now.
It's so interesting that you say that, man. Messaging in music is so important, and I feel like a lot of people now kind of take the back door because they kind of feel like, oh well, I'm not trying to be a role model. You hear that? Or you'll hear things.
You know
like,
what? Those let me say, not to cut you off, but like
ahead, bro.
people who say that they not in tune with themselves, they not healed. They got a lot going on with themselves that they have not even tapped into. So for someone to say that that's actually like it's sad to hear that. You got to again understand what, you know, your voice is powerful when you're on that level. You know what I mean? In society, you got to understand that anything you say can, you know, can be flipped and turned around, and you know, you're not doing anything positive, and everything you're saying and doing is gonna come back to you. That's why, you know, we could get into this conversation could get deeper and deeper. You know, that's why you got a lot of these artists like God, you know, God bless the dead, Pop Smoke. You know, look at the type of music he was making. Look at the type of energy he was attracting. Yes, we loved his energy. Yes, we loved what he brought to the table, and it was dope for what it was. But think about what it attracts. You think Justin Bieber got to go to LA and check in? You think Post Malone got to go to LA and check in? You think all those artists got to do that? No, because they don't attract that energy. So what I'm putting out into the world is the energy I want to attract.
You put in what you get in. You put in what you get out.
And that's not to, you know, take away. God bless him and his family and whoever else that has experienced that. You know, a rest in peace to all of those guys that have been through, you know, similar situations. But that's a conversation that needs to be touched on, and I'm tired of it being just disregarded and shelved. People need to talk about that. Like that whole check-in, you know, lifestyle and all that, it comes with that energy, and that's not the energy that I'm with. You know, and it's not because, you know, I'm afraid of nothing, because I'm in the trenches too. Don't let the nice fit fool you, because I get busy, like for real. So I don't want to portray that though, because that's not conducive to anything that's progressive. It's not, and it's actually regressive, especially in my journey. So if I want to put out something to the world, this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be something positive and uplifting and empowering.
What would you say to Lex Lavo 5 years ago? What would you say to that man?
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Because I felt like I was stuck in a rut. I felt like I was like not moving. I felt lifeless. I felt like I didn't feel like I was myself for a long time.
Why would, if you don't mind me asking?
Because I was not walking in my purpose. I was moving with toxic masculinity, misogyny. I was not treating women right. I was not treating my peers right. I was not treating anybody right. It was like I was on autopilot.
Were you
just
making
in
music
life. Yeah,
then?
and it was along those lines. So when you walking in your purpose and you walking with what makes sense and what God has in store for you, you attract that, right? So I started attracting that energy. I started attracting certain things that I was like, this is not what I should be doing. And I started implementing that in my music because that's what I knew, right? So you start talking about what you know and what you're experiencing. Because 100% of my music is everything I've experienced. I don't fabricate. I don't none of that. Everything I've said is what I lived. And I believe that that's why now, I can look back and be like, damn, like, I've definitely grown. I've grown as a man, as an artist, as an individual, period. So I just feel like, that Lex Lavo back then, he was on this journey of destruction, and I had to stop that.
Nothing like being more self-aware and knowing like, yo,
Yeah, man. My self-awareness is up.
This is damaging to myself and everybody that's around me.
Right.
You in therapy at all?
Yes. At least once a week.
How has that helped you as a person, even as an artist?
Again, I gotta attribute that to my counterpart. She's opened that door for me and made me realize that those are the most important things in your journey to growing and developing and being more self-aware. So definitely that I throw that in my music now. Like a lot of the newer music is gonna be talking about that therapy and real life events of that nature. What therapy has done for me though is it made me open up to the conversations, like those tough convos, the ones that is hard to have, like the being vulnerable, being open about yourself, and being an open book and just letting it all out, crying. I cry a lot now. I'm open like that. I'm vulnerable. And I feel like that's where you got 333 from. That's where those types of records are starting to, derive from. So yeah, man, therapy is well recommended. And I come from, I'm Latino, so we don't come from that. We don't come from therapy being, something that's like implemented and celebrated. It's actually looked down upon. Like you hear people in my culture be like, therapy, what's that? It sounds like therapy is like you're going to like the mental ward.
Yep. I was about to say that.
You're about to go to the mental ward and like, it ain't gonna look good for the family that you're about what? No, this is actually gonna help you. I've asked people in my family like, yo, like don't you get anxious? Don't you have PTSD? Don't you have this, that, and the third? Are you depressed? What's that? And it's like, wow, like that's powerful in itself to like not be that self-aware. So like that's what I'm trying to break. As they say, that generational curse, in the sense where it's like I don't want my children to ever have to think like that. They gonna know what mental health is and being in tune on that level and just having emotional intelligence and things of that nature. Like I cannot have my lineage repeat that at all. Like that's not gonna happen.
Black and brown people have the stigma, and I said it when Ricky Mace was up here, that we don't succumb to none of that. That therapy and questions like depression, or even like addressing like,
and even what it is, not because even when it is brought up, it's like, shut up, go to bed, you be all right.
Oh yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's shoot off, it's shunned. It's like, yeah, whatever, get out of here.
Right, but mentally it's still there.
And a lot of people, what I've come to understand is, people use like scapegoats or like things to like, distract themselves, right? I always say, grow through what you go through. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I think that's important. And instead of like going to the gym and boxing or, doing whatever to like get your mind off it for an hour or two. The moment an hour or two is over, your mind is right back to that. So how are you healing? You're not. You're still stuck. So you gotta grow through what you go through. You gotta build on those things. You can't neglect that, because you're gonna stay stagnant. You're gonna stay stuck in your ways, and you're gonna see that in how you treat people, how you talk to them, how you approach life, how other things affect you. Again, this is something else that I talk about, and with how Nipsey, he said, what did he say? Let's change how we react to disrespect. I think that's That's so powerful, man. Like, that's one of the most powerful statements I've ever heard in my life.
Mm.
Because, again, as black and brown, culture, I believe that, you walking down the street, especially being, from the ghettos and all that, you walking down the street, and when we walk past a lot of each other, like, we look at each other, it's like, what you looking at?
Yep.
It's like this, like, this energy, like, what the fuck you looking at? It's like, dude, why are we like this? Why are we so miserable? Obviously, there's a lot of back, track on that, like, when it comes to the history of it all, but because there's a lot of mental and emotional abuse that we've all gone through, over hundreds of years.
But it's true, though.
Yeah, man, it's how you react to disrespect now. And that's what I'm firm on now. It's how I'm reacting to disrespect. Because anybody could disrespect me, right? And they can say whatever they want. But that don't mean that's what it is.
Absolutely.
So when you firm on that and understand that, that ain't going to affect you. Anybody could say anything to you or blab about you behind your back. As long as you know your truth. And the ones closest to you know your truth. Like, yeah, all right, man, whatever.
And it's nothing like that. Nothing like that when you can have, knowing thyself, so to speak.
It is.
Before I let you get out of here, bro, one question, man. I heard you, you big up your lady a lot. Shout out to you, Maggie.
Yeah.
Talk about how the power of a woman can kind of shift the man's, power of a real woman, I'm going to say, can kind of shift the man's mental. Because she seemed like she's done a lot.
I mean, I could sit here and get emotional right now, bro, because she's been probably the, not even, she has been the most influential, and she's been there for me, man, in ways that nobody in my entire life has ever been there for me. In no way. Yeah, man. And she's opened up my eyes to being real with myself, first and foremost. And I love you for that, man.
This is a first.
You the best thing that ever happened to me on some real shit. Like,
this is a first. I love it. Shout out to you, Maggie.
Best person in my life, period. Like, yo, I watched Denzel, man, and Denzel, he goes up, when he receives his awards and does his acceptance speeches, and the first thing he says is, yo, my wife this, my wife that, she's the one. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her, and I could say that about her. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her, man. She's been my rock, the glue to keep me together, to help me understand life better, being more real, more authentic, stop, dibbling, dabbling in my old ways. Like, she's
held you accountable,
one of a
bro.
kind. Oh yeah, she's held me accountable. What, man? This shit is turning into therapy right now, man.
That's what we do here, man. That's what we do here, man.
You, baby. I love you.
That is amazing. And Maggie, shit, man, we love you too, man. Because you got this man here shining in such a different light. He's glowing.
Thank you.
I feel your energy is radiant over here, man.
Thank you,
and
bro.
I am like,
that.
I'm loving the spirit and the energy that you in, bro.
Thank you.
Let everybody know where we can find you.
Man, listen, Lex Lavo, LEXLAVO, on all platforms, everywhere you could think. Could Google it. You can, wherever you want to search it at, it's on all platforms. Just type my name in, everything pop up, man. That's it. I
usually always tell a guest to leave us with a gem, but I feel like you said so much, and I want to thank you for this incredible conversation. I really appreciate you.
Me, bro.
Nah, man, and we definitely may need to do a part 2. I definitely feel like a sequel is in the works for that.
I'm down for that, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lex Lavo.
Thank you. Bro.
Amazing rapper.
Appreciate you.
Amazing talent.
Thank you.
Much love to you on your journey, brother.
Appreciate you, my brother.
No
Thank
doubt,
you
man.
so much.
Appreciate you, bro.
Likewise.
HHGTV, we out of here, man.
What you watching? Hip Hop Gens TV?